Hello, I'm Richard Draycott, the Associate Editor of the Drum magazine, and welcome along to the Agency Acceleration Day, a day focused on all the issues and challenges that growing agencies face in their development. We thought it'd be a great idea to share some of the opinions and experiences of today's speakers and panellists, so here we go.
The best way to run an agency, well, first of all, we stick by a mantra: work hard and be nice to people. I think it comes down to a few points. First of all, there's a really careful balance you need to bring to looking after your clients, but also looking after your staff, whilst delivering great quality work. I think that's a really, really difficult thing to find. It's maybe easier when you're a smaller agency, but then scaling that and keeping that talent pool is, I think, a really hard element to bring, but it's really important in terms of growing the agency. The other element, which we touched on in our session earlier, was in terms of how the top of the founders of the business, they can't be responsible for looking after every single client all the time. So it's installing a really great senior management team who you trust in, who can deliver great success for your clients and you rely on, so you're then freed up to grow your business and look after the business needs.
So I found, and I had it actually in a frame in my office for many years: starve the problems, feed the opportunities. It's counterintuitive because we're so drawn into the problems because they act on us. They come at us all day long. With opportunities, we have to act on them. And so the proactive leader is able to do that, and I think create a lot of additional value for their firms in the process. We spend way too much time, especially if you're an agency owner or manager, obsessing about what's wrong in the firm, about talking in closed-door sessions about your people, problem clients, problems with projects, deadlines and money, and that leaves no time left to talk about what's really important, which are the opportunities that we have to innovate and to develop new ideas and experiment with new revenue streams and new forms of compensation.
I think the two things that had come to mind in terms of top tips for running a successful agency: first one is run the business as if it was already the scale you hope it to be. I think it's important to understand what your aspirations are and to start putting those best practice structures in place, whether it's running the right board meetings, whether it's having the right reporting and the right structures in place. Beyond that, I think it's important to share your vision and your plan with your teams. And make sure that you can find the opportunity and the time to communicate with everybody in a way that they're going to be able to understand and personalise, so that they can adjust their own objectives to meet your overall business aims.
Well, I think it's really important that the agency has a really strong team, well throughout, but particularly at the top, and a team who work well together, whose skills complement each other. I think it's also really important to have a shared vision and a clear sense of where you're trying to get to as a team, and make sure everybody's working towards the same direction. And I think one of the things that's been interesting for us over the last few years is having this sense of being prepared to take some risks. I think naturally businesses become risk averse and a little bit conservative, and yet business owners and agencies are naturally quite entrepreneurial. So if you can find a way of channeling those risks, actually the great ideas that come through the business, actually putting them in context, assessing what the risk might be, but allowing them then to help the business to thrive. And certainly some of our big steps in the last few years have come out of a great idea that we've then had to put in context and go ahead and make it happen. And as a result of that strategy, we've had an acquisition, we've opened a new office, we've become part of a global network. So I think it's, don't be frightened to make changes, take a few risks, understand what the risk factor is, and then hopefully they'll help your business to grow.
I think my top tips on running any agency, whether it be marketing, digital, design, branding, advertising, whatever, is not to get carried away with your own importance. And one of the dangers, I've seen it happen with people around me who were actually more junior than me, who wanted other people to think they were more senior than me, but it's very easy to get carried away with your own importance, and particularly in agency world. And as you move up to the ladders and you have secretaries, and then you'll get the secretaries to actually reply to all the emails and letters. You never actually start doing it yourself, so you start to lose contact with the whole day-to-day. So I think generally just be conscious of the fact that the staff are looking up to you as a boss, but equally they want to be working for a nice, decent person. And just taking time out to do things that have got no financial benefit to the agency. So a lot of people think very short term. They're thinking about the profits at the end of the month. They think about putting figures into the group that give the group what they want, and they lose sight of the longer term, and I found I've been retired from full-time work now for 10 years, and I've never had such a good time, because the favours I built up over the previous 20 years, I've got all these people just being nice to me and looking after me and offering me jobs. And it's because if you do a favour for somebody when you don't need to do it, it's amazing what great memories they've got.